Hey y'all, so I'm gonna start talking about my interactions with men who approach me in public. I recently had a guy approach me, and it was really strange because I feel like he orchestrated the whole thing. But my purpose of doing this is to become a better communicator with the opposite sex because I do realize where I suppress myself often. Instead of saying what I want to say, I will just take the path of least resistance, and then it ends up making me look like boring, lame, like a nice girl, too much like everybody else. And I just don't want that to happen because I feel like I do miss out on expressing my authentic self, and I do think that can be due to programming from my childhood, or maybe school, or maybe my parents, to silence me and not say what I actually want to say. And I think it was a lot from my parents because I did get in trouble from a lot of the things I said. Like, I always said some off the wall stuff when I was little, and I would get spankings. My parents would yell at me and punish me, and that now as an adult has left me repressed. And so I'm trying to still uncover those raw parts of me that wants to say what I want to say, but I'm halfway there. So I feel like this will really help me. So this was a weird interaction because I feel like this man might have been watching me before the interaction, and he kind of orchestrated this whole thing because he kept telling me oh, he was at this table because somebody took his book, but it was a bookstore, so it wasn't his book. But anyways, you know how guys do. So it started when the seats were all full at the bookstore, and so I went into this part that was in the corner, and then the store worker comes up to me and says, "Oh, this part is blocked off, you can't sit here." And I was like, "Oh, are there any other available seats?" And he was like, "Yeah, there's plenty." And so I walked up, and I only saw one seat that was available. Well, it wasn't available. I saw this man. I saw everybody else sitting at the tables. There were only the tables, and this man, as soon as I got up, he immediately made eye contact with me. I had no time to look anywhere else. He locked eyes with me, and he was standing up by the table, and his hand was on the table, and he just kept looking at me and kept looking at me. And I didn't break eye contact. I was walking towards him, maintaining eye contact, and I was the one that spoke. I said, "Hey." That's another thing. When people create eye contact with me and I don't know them, I don't want to be the first one to speak because I'm not that type of person that will just look at people to look at people. You're the one maintaining eye contact with me, you should speak. But I did say hey. He said hey back, and then I was like, "Is anyone using this table?" And then he was like somebody took something I placed here. And I don't know, I just sat at the table because I thought he was about to leave. He was like, "No, nobody's using it." And then I sat down, and he was like, "Somebody took something I placed here." I was like, "Oh, what was it?" And he was like, "It was a book I was reading." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sure there's more on the shelf." And he was like, "Yeah, that's right." And then he was like, "Can I sit here?" He was like, "Can I sit here with you?" And I was like, "Sure." Now, I think he was lying. I think he used that as an excuse. Like I said, I felt like he orchestrated this whole thing, and he used that as an excuse to, I don't know, engage in conversation with me and sit at the same table with me. But this is where I was too nice, because why would I let a stranger I don't know sit down at a table with me? And I was there studying for something I really need to be studying for. And so I wish I would have said, "I'll let you sit here if you buy me some hot chocolate." I love that. I think it's very cute. It's not too nice not letting a stranger, sit with me that I don't even know, because I did not want him to sit with me. I was just sure, whatever. I was trying to get to my work. So I was like, yeah, whatever. And I really need to think faster on my feet when it comes to things like this. And so And so I sit down and he starts asking me questions. And yeah, he starts asking me questions. He was like, how often do you come here? I told him I'm studying for this. And then he was like, I don't know what he said. He was like, oh, that's great. And then he was like, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from here. And he was like, oh, I heard an accent. And I was like, oh, I was born in New Orleans. And I was like, where are you from? He was like, he's from Europe. And then I was like, what do you do? And he said he's the owner of a public accountant firm. And he says he never stops working or worrying about his business. And I was like, oh, that's great. I'm actually trying to free myself from the 9 to 5 by starting my own business. And I told him what I wanted to do, and he looked depressed. Y'all, this man, he put his head down. I've seen this look in a man before. He put his head down and he looked kind of sad. And then he says, and then he starts talking about his business. He was like, yeah, he never gets a break. And he asked me, what am I doing for the holidays? I was like, hopefully I'm going home to visit my family in New Orleans. And he was like, is it snowing there? And I was like, no. I was thinking, like, what idiot thinks it's snowing in New Orleans? And he was like, oh, I love going to, like, Colorado and all these other places. And he was like, I love the snow. That's something about us Europeans that we love. And I was like, do you like to ski? And he was like, yeah, he likes to ski. Okay, I wish I would have said, oh, man, I hate the snow. We would never work out. We can't even be friends. Because that is the truth. That is my raw expression of what I wanted to say. And I just asked him, like, I don't know what I said. I was like, oh, okay, that's great. And then I started writing down, like, I started studying my course because that's what I came there for. I'm not going to, like, entertain this man. I don't know. You know, he didn't even offer to buy me anything, like a drink or something. And then he's asking me, like, where, he asked me if I live around there. And he asked me if I live around there. And I told him, like, you're a stranger. Like, I don't want to be telling you that. And then he said, crazy. And then he started laughing. And then I was like, yeah, I'm from around here. I'm not from around there. So I'm glad I lied about where I'm from to protect myself. And I'm glad that I told him, like, stranger danger. Why are you asking me where do I live? And I just met you. Okay, so okay, I started studying my course because I'm not just gonna, like, waste my time. And he was like, I'm gonna go. I don't want to be bothering you with your course. And I was like, oh, but I've been loving your company. I don't know why I said that. I think it's because, like, I was lonely, like, honestly, like, I don't know. Because I liked him, like, sitting there, but I didn't like him talking. So I was like, maybe he can sit there and not talk. But he wasn't feeling that. He was like, I noticed, like, most guys want all my attention on them all the time if I'm in their presence, which is quite annoying. Feels like I can never, like, really relax and just, like, do my thing and exist. I always have to be, like, entertainment mode or something. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, maybe I'll see you around. And he was like, how often do you come here? And I was like, this is my 3rd time here. And he was like, I come here like once a month. But I'm probably not going to go back over there for a while. I've only been there 3 times. And I've been here like a year and something. And so he was just like, have a good day. And I said, au revoir. And then that was that. So yeah, this was a strange interaction because I think he orchestrated the whole thing, and maybe he was the one to tell somebody I was sitting over there, because his eyes were glued on my direction the moment I got up, and I was in the corner. Like, you can't even, like the moment I got up, his eyes were just, like, on me like a psychopath. And so I maintained eye contact. That was a good thing about this interaction. And I got the table because, you know, I asked for what I wanted. That was good. Even though I had to get to another table because I don't like sitting in the middle of the room. And Third, he asked me where I live. Too much information. I actually told him, you're a stranger. Why do you need to know that? That's good. Okay. And then another thing is I kept doing what I came to do. I didn't take all my attention off what I was focused on myself and put it on him. I kept doing what I was there to do. So those are the 4 great things about this interaction with this stranger man at the bookstore. Now, some things I did not like about the interaction. I do not like that I immediately said sure when he asked me to sit down instead of challenging him to sit in my presence. I should have, been like I said, more playful. Maybe if you buy me a drink, and be like, or if I didn't want him to sit there at all and wanted to focus, I can be like, oh no, I have a friend coming, sorry. Or just said straight up no. Number 2, I'm glad I got to interact. Oh, I didn't tell you guys the best part about this. He told me he's a public accountant, and I asked him a question about stocks that I was interested in. I said, do you think it's worth investing if you don't have a lot of money to your name? Like, if you invest $5 in a stocks, is that worth investing? Like, is it that serious to invest? And he gave me his honest answer. So I'm so glad I extracted some information from him that could help me in the future, instead of him just wasting my beautiful feminine energy and, gaining some ego boost from the presence of a beautiful woman and getting my energy. I also got some energy from him by asking that question about his expertise. So that was great to know, because I actually really wanted to ask an accountant that. Okay, and another thing is he is an entrepreneur. I went out with the intention today to speak to an entrepreneur, because that is my goal, to become an entrepreneur. And I just wanted to just talk to an entrepreneur, just to exchange energy with them. So that was another perk about this interaction. Now, like I said, one thing I didn't like about this interaction is I said immediately yes for him to sit down. I should have challenged him. Number 2, I feel like I could have been a bit more less easygoing. I feel like I was really easygoing and non-threatening. I feel like I could have been a bit more sassy. The part about him asking me where I'm from, I'm glad I told him, stranger danger, why are you asking me that? But I eventually lied and said I'm from this area. But I wish I would have not told him, where I live. Not where I'm from. I'm talking about where I live. Because, that could have been his indicator of, oh, will you go home and sleep with me? You're a beautiful woman. Why else would he want to know where I live? And I just met this man, the stranger man. So I wish I would have been a bit more cold when it came to that response about where I live. And other than that, this was good. I'm proud of myself. I am definitely getting better at interacting with the opposite sex and challenging men in conversation, and not just being like a boring yes, just a boring conversation. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this interaction. Oh, and another red flag about this interaction was that once I told him what I was studying for, and I told him how I'm trying to escape the 9-to-5 by starting my own business. And I told him what I wanted to do. And it was something cute, nothing like crazy, like take over the world. It was cute. And then he looked sad after I mentioned how I wanted to start my own business. He said something that I knew this is not going nowhere. He was like, you're gonna have to work your job before you can embark on da 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 da. And so I told him, there's so many ways to make money these days. And then from there, it was like a no-go. I hate whenever a guy is trying to push me as a working mule. When I express to him I'm trying to escape the rat race, I know that's a slave owner right there. I know that is a 50-50 man, more like a a you do you, I do me type of guy. And I know y'all might be thinking like, oh my God, like this man just met you. Like, why would you expect da 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 da? Well, why would he ask me where I lived? And why would he want to sit across from me if he didn't have, you know, if he wasn't like even the slightest bit attracted? So yeah, this was interesting. And you know, he is from Europe, so they do things differently over there. I heard about how they get down over there in Europe. So yeah, I'm gonna be posting more about these interactions, so let me know what you think. No, but honestly, I think this man will be like a great friend to have and nothing more. I do think the interaction was it was just neutral. It wasn't amazing, it wasn't terrible, it was just a cordial interaction with a stranger. And I think this went really well, and if I saw him again, you know, I would keep it cordial some more.